Com todas as centenas de litros que eu já bebi dessa substância na minha vida, com todos os trabalhos já feitos com várias partes do mundo, eu nunca tomei algo tão forte.
Y entré en un trance fortísimo como nunca, o sea, más fuerte del que jamás he entrado. Algunos dicen que básicamente es que estás penetrando a tu ADN, estás viendo tu ADN, ¿no? Estás trabajando dentro de tu ADN.
Scientifically, medically, physiologically, neurophysiologically, we have looked inside of your body. We've gone into every orifice we can find. And the conclusion was, there is nothing inside of you, not even a smidgen, not even a slight hint, not a smell, not a taste, not a feeling, nada, nothing inside of you that is called an I.
The universe is self-created and self-directed, and therefore is self-explanatory. The emergence of consciousness, human and perhaps other types, in any way encourages a kind of retrocausality. To choose between the laws and countless unspoken values that seem possible at the beginning of the universe, to update those who demonstrate consistent with subsequent evolution of life and mind. In this theological framework, the universe and the mind will eventually emerge into a single entity, so that the purpose of the universe is allowed to devise their own self-consciousness.
En esta vez me penetré y lo vi con tanto color, y en ese momento fue como que la ayahuasca me llevó a la muerte directamente. Me dijo, ¿sabes? Y yo comencé a morir y comencé a sentir que me moría, y cuando ya estaba en la punta de la muerte, y me dice la ayahuasca, tienes un chance para vivir. Si no paras de fumar marihuana, te mato. Me dijo, si dejas de fumar marihuana, te voy a conceder la vida. Pero nunca más la puedes fumar, jamás. Nunca más, forever.
To teach in medical school, I taught the conventional dogma that genes were programs that controlled our lives. But the new understanding called epigenetics reveals that the genes are actually controlled by the environment or the organism's perception of the environment. We perceive ourselves as single individual entities. The truth is we're actually comprised of upwards to 50 trillion individual living cells. Each cell is like a citizen in a large community of 50 trillion entities in one population. In the community of cells that make up the body, if the leadership is off, it causes a disturbance in the function of the population, which results in a state of dis-ease. A cancer represents the status when cells are so upset with the leadership that it's not supporting their vitalities. If we change our perception, then we can change our gene activity. Our illnesses are not necessarily programmed in our genes, but they are responses to the way we perceive our environment.
Can a single cell think? The biologist, Professor Brian Ford, is giving a lecture at Churchill College, Cambridge today, in which he'll argue the case for saying that a form of intelligence may well exist in places where it was once thought to be pretty well absent. This is the first of a neuron spike, isn't it?
Yes.
Let's just hear it now. Right.
Oh, ghastly.
Now, what was it doing?
Well, what the cells are doing is sending out little impulses, and we always believe, everybody knows this, that nerve cells are just transistors. They're a go or no-go gate, an on or off switch, a little binary code generating system, like a tiny transistor. Now, my view is that if amoebae are clever enough to build homes for themselves, it doesn't make sense that a neuron is only sending out no or no-go signals, on or off switch signals. So what I did was to take these standard spike recordings and to stretch them out from, I mean, you just heard about half a second to say 20 seconds, and at that level you can actually hear what is going on inside each spike. Each spike is more or less the frequency of the human voice, and so for the very first time you can actually hear the utterances that one nerve cell is making to another, and this rather haunting sound is almost like, I think, seabirds on a cliff talking to each other.
Let's hear it. So what's going on?
Well, we always tend to teach these days that thought and data processing in the brain goes on at the synapses, the junctions between brain cells. I don't believe that. I believe that thought is going on within the nerve cells. The nerve cell is the most highly evolved cell that we know, and it cannot just be switching on or off like a transistor.
So what are the implications for things like stem cells, which everybody's talking about in terms of stem cell research?
The stem cell, for example, viewed in my model, is seen as a human in microbe form. I don't see us, you see, as bodies divided up into cells. I see us as great communities of independent, almost free-thinking cells that come together to produce the effect that we know of as human life.